Hey, what's going on? What's going on, guys? Good to see you. Good to see you all. Sorry for the delay. Some rare technical difficulties tonight to the likes that I haven't seen in months. So I was really running my hard drive pretty heavy all day today, working on lots of things. So I suspect that has something to do with it. So just keep me posted in the chat how things are doing, how we're coming through, if there's any significant lagging, things of that nature. And we'll just power through this. And many times too, when I have a start like this, things will smooth out as the show gets going. Something about it readjusting as we go along. So just keep us posted in the chat, guys. Good to see you guys. You are listening to your man, Real Deal Steven Steele, coming to you live on this Sunday evening. It's good to see you all. Good to see you all. Got some interesting things to discuss tonight, some funny things to discuss tonight, and a little bit everywhere in between. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, take a moment to do that. It takes a split second of your time. It doesn't cost you a dime. It's the number one thing you can do to help a new emerging channel like this reach more people, get up to those tricky YouTube algorithms. If you're new here, I'd like to personally welcome you. You're watching Steven Steele Live. I am Steven Steele, and I'd like to invite you to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Hit all on that notification bell. And if you've already subscribed, hit all on that notification bell. Now, who do we got in the chat tonight? We've got Slay Blaze, Trucking All Day, Beef Supreme, Fatali, Donnie DeVille, Kamal, Abstractius, Zero Fox, Hector the Dude, Sublime, Nick, of course, Mama Crypto, yes, McLovin, welcome McLovin Macaroni. I love it. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. And I'm sure more people will filter in here as the show picks up here. Yes, I'm back. Yes, I'm back. And welcome back, all of you. And sorry for all the hiccups tonight. And if you feel compelled to super chat anytime throughout this episode, feel free to do so. That's obviously hugely appreciated for all my time and efforts. You can feel free to ask myself and or my co-host tonight anything you'd like, or make any comments you'd like, just as long as they're, relatively tasteful, guys. And we'll do our best to field those as best as possible. Beto, good to see you. Rodrigo, good to see you. Yeah, we're just gonna get started. At this time, I'd like to introduce my co-hostess with the mostest for this evening. She's becoming a regular around these parts. It's Sadaf Jadran. How you doing, Sadaf? Yeah, we're pushing on here. Threw a little monkey wrench in the system, but we're getting on just fine now, it seems like. So I appreciate your patience as well, Sadaf. So how are things treating you over in good old Sydney, Australia? Yeah, the lockdown is pretty serious business over there right now. I've got a couple other friends over your way as well, and everyone's just really having a go, coping at this huge, enormous. What would this be, like the third wave of lockdowns for you guys?
It's actually the second for Sydney, but I think it's just getting tighter every day. So we had a 10-kilometre radius that you can go out for essentials, which has now been dropped to about 4 or 5 kilometres.
Hold on, they're saying they can't hear you, but I know why. It's because my settings were on. I had to put my settings on a different setup to be on Ross's stream earlier today. But so just give me a moment, guys. I got you. We're gonna have Sadaf. You'll be able to hear her momentarily. Everyone, just take it easy. we're gonna get her back on track. I assure you. I promise. Just having one of those rocky starts here that Okay, you should be good now. They should be able to hear you just fine now, Sadaf. So, as you were saying, this is the second lockdown. Sadaf, I was talking what she was saying earlier. Sadaf, for those of you who don't know, she is a new team member here on Steve & Steele Live, one of our regular new co-hosts. She hails from Sydney, Australia. Sydney, Australia hit with a massive second round of super strict lockdowns. So I was just asking her how she's getting on. Go continue, Sadaf.
Hey guys, thank you for all the concern. Mama Crypto here crying that she can't hear me. Oh. Yeah, no, it's extremely boring here where we are what we call inmates.
Yeah.
We're just trying to keep ourselves occupied here, but yeah, until August 29th, but that seems to keep extending itself, so let's see.
Yeah, so August 29th, pretty strict lockdown till then?
Yeah, so you can't leave your, what they call local government areas.
Yes.
You can only leave within a 5-kilometre radius, and that's for essentials only. So, you know, anything to do with the hospital or groceries, but nothing other than that. But the crazy loophole here is that they opened a bubble for one individual that you can have over. So, you know, a partner, lover, whatever it is. So I can't actually go to like my mum's house. Like, let's say my mum lived next door, but I could have someone over that, you know, I'm just seeing. So it's a little crazy.
Yeah. So only travel to and from the significant others or family?
No family, just significant others. So you can't actually visit family.
Wow. And how does the law determine who your significant other is?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like I was like brainstorming the other day, and I thought the only things that could, you know, roam around freely right now are like delivery trucks, Ubers. So I was like, what's stopping someone from just putting an Uber sticker behind their car and just, I don't know, carrying a bag of food,
right?
That they've ordered, and just like, you know, when you get stopped, just say you're just delivering Uber. Like, I don't think there's any kind of governance there. I don't know how they check, other than maybe checking your phone to see if you're going to the location that you're meant to deliver the food. But it's crazy, and no one can actually. I mean, I could have a girlfriend over and just pretend I swing that way.
Sure.
Because you know what I mean. So I don't know. There's always loopholes, and there's always people like me thinking about it. Not that I'd ever act on it, but yeah, I don't know how they determine these things.
Yeah, it's just an interesting thing to try to put a sort of metric on. I mean, if you're an officer, a police officer in Australia, and you're pulling people over, and you're supposed to grill them on whoever the person in the car's relationship is to you, and I don't know. It just seems get pretty murky, right?
Yeah, there's always that the gray area. So I don't know what they're trying to achieve, but I think the goal is to get, and without opening that can of worms, is to get 70 to 90% vaccination rate before we can have total freedom. So I think everyone's just kind of sitting around, but at the same time, Australia doesn't have enough vaccines. So I don't know what they're trying to do, but like I said, I've been working from home from about 2018.
Right.
I went solo then, and so for me, it's not really a big lifestyle change. The only thing that's kind of changing is the fact that I'm just going to have to build like my own little gym in the garage because these gyms don't seem to be opening up anytime soon. So yeah. It seems to be there's a fair amount of civil unrest over by you too as well. I've been seeing a pretty fair amount of protest footage. There's a lot. Someone just wrote, Australia is the new North Korea. I swear that is so accurate. I can't actually agree more. Yeah, so I don't know what's happening. Well, look, the thing is, they had protests last week, and each one of those, anyone that's contributed to that protest is now being hunted down by the police for committing a crime. So, I mean, a lot of people there attended without a mask. So I think that's become an issue. And there was another one planned for this Saturday, which got cancelled. I think they kind of hunted down the person who was kind of running the show. Yeah, so it's all over the shop right now. I think people are just, to be honest, the best way to describe it is people are just really confused. Confused with the messaging, confused with what's happening, confused with how it happened all over again. So the crazy part of this is it actually started on what we call like the Northern Beaches area, which is like obviously posh suburbs, right near the beach, obviously a wealthier side to the city. It started with a few cases there, and they had a very kind of chill lockdown for like 3 days, and obviously from there it spread out to the western suburbs, and when it spread out here, it's total anarchy. Like we've got the army on that's been kind of the army on the streets and in the air, but then the original area where it broke out, they're just chilling on the beach. Everyone's just doing their thing, no tough regulations there. So I think that's what's kind of causing the uproar, and yeah, it's
it's one of these things where I don't know. It's very hard to navigate through this topic without it becoming a bit polarized, isn't it? But I guess I empathize with a lot of the health concerns. At the same time, we are seeing a lot of secondary severe consequences to extended lockdowns. Depression rates going through the roof, suicide rates going through the roof.
It's crazy.
Humans, we are social beings. We thrive on being social with each other and moving about. Yeah, and if you take away that ability on a society for a pretty significant extended period of time, you end up trading off safety from this virus for a whole new other set of problems. And at that point, you have to just look at, I guess you just try to look at the data. And when I say look at the data in its totality, I mean look at the data in terms of what the virus is causing, and not only the obvious, like as far as firsthand spread of it and the fatality rates and so forth, but also the secondary unintended consequences of strict lockdowns, right?
You've had a lot of people die from suicide and domestic abuse than you've had from COVID. So I don't know who's doing the decision making, but it's,
so you've had what you're saying is, over by you've had more people die of those things than of actually. Now, Sadaf, when we speak of this, because on this particular topic in America here, YouTube has very strict TOS on this topic. So let's just call it the virus, yeah. And So what you're saying is the rates for what?
Yeah.
So
sorry, continue.
So the suicide rates and whatnot are the fatalities that those are causing in your neck of the woods are more than what's the fatalities being caused by the virus?
Yeah, unfortunately. And even before the virus was a thing, those fatality rates were always much higher than any common virus. And not enough attention was paid to that. So, and that is also something that, like, I know that the virus is something that you can catch and you're unaware of it, but so is, mental health. And so many people, live with it and don't know how to deal with it and are falling deeper and deeper into that hole. But I guess what just happened? Sorry, do you know why I freaked out? I have, I'm following someone with the name of Elon Musk Stop, but it's got all the same.
Oh, okay. So it's like
Elon. And there was status that just said sold all my Doge for ADA, and I was like, what? I thought it was Elon.
Oh my gosh. I was like, well, that would be some news for sure. But just to be clear, guys, that was just to be clear, guys, that wasn't a real Elon Musk profile. Yeah, you know, it's one of these things where I've noticed that some folks is seeming to me seem to lack a sense of empathy for a fair amount of individuals who have been suffering. Their mental health has been severely suffering as the consequences of these lockdowns. And so I think when people have conversations about it, I think they deserve to be a bit more nuanced than the polarization that we're seeing in terms of, you know, there's a fair sect of society that's, you know, prides themselves in being what they consider to be pro-science, and that this is clear-cut, and anybody else that is defying the laws that their governance has applied in regards to restrictions during this virus situation is, you know, an idiot or incredibly inconsiderate. I personally know a fair amount of people whose mental health has struggled significantly. And so for some folks, and I think it's more people than we suspect, define these laws to a certain degree. I'm not saying being brazenly disrespectful and, you know, getting in people's faces without masks in public places and things like that. I think that's very inconsiderate to do that as well. But people that just are trying to get out and about and have some semblance of a social life for the sake of their own sanity. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And what's crazy is I actually read a really good comment someone made the other day about, you know, I've never seen the government make such a big deal or push the narrative of how important just exercise is for health.
Yes.
You know, the way they have been with everything else that's about the virus. And what's crazy is that although you have the freedom we're allowed to go for walks, obviously around the area with a mask on, but I cannot tell you how difficult that's become ever since this total lockdown. Like, just to convince yourself to get out of bed and go and exercise when I think the vibe and the atmosphere isn't the same. It is so hard. So even that thing that we've got there that could, you know, brighten our mood up, it's so difficult to get to. Something that's actually so easy to do has become so hard given the circumstances.
Yeah, totally. Fatali Lee, thank you for the $2 super chat. Kama D Luffy. I'm not sure if that's another fellow user's name or what's going on, but nevertheless, thank you, Fatali. Appreciate that. Yeah, I hear you. So, you know, it's one of these things where, so what are you saying in terms of, are you saying that the laws are such where you are right now that even if you're walking around outside and you're not even around other people, you have to wear a mask?
Yeah, so anywhere outside your house and you have to wear a mask. And it's something crazy the other day on the news was you need to wear masks inside the house as well. Stay away from your kids, and like it's actually losing its fucking mind, to be honest. But
so you have news outlets propagating that sort of advice? Yeah,
unfortunately we do. So I mean, your home is meant to be your sanctuary, right? You're not meant to really be about wearing a mask inside the house. But you know what's crazy? Like, I've been watching the Olympics, and I feel so bad. Obviously I'm watching Australia in the pool, and like these swimmers have just finished like a 1,500 meter swim, and they're already out of breath. But when they're going to do the interview, although they weren't wearing a mask in the water and they're hugging their, the other swimmers in the pool, you know, congratulating each other. When they're coming to do an interview, they've got the mask on and they're struggling to breathe as they speak. and you can see the mask kind of like going, like being swallowed into their mouth and then pushed right out because they're so out of breath.
Sure.
And I was like, you could take the mask off for those 5 minutes. Like, I don't know. It looked like they were suffocating, honestly, while they were doing an interview.
Oh, gotcha. And yeah, I haven't seen. I haven't really watched any of the Olympics for the first. This is the first Olympics I haven't really tuned into since I can remember. Bank Stun, Steven Steele, I think that Super Chat was his Twitter handle. Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot more sense, Vitali. So if go ahead, Tali's giving himself a Twitter shout out. If you want to pay to do it, you can do it. So you pay to play, no problem, my friend. Yeah, this is.
Yes.
This is, it's really interesting to see a lot of the, a lot of those kind of hilarious double standards like the one you just illustrated going on with the Olympics. We're seeing this more and more. To me, regardless of how you feel about this issue, and I'm really not trying to make it a polarizing conversation, but to me, with that being said, to me, issuing laws wherein there's mandatory mask requirements for people who are hanging out by themselves, not even around other people, let's say outside. So if you're on your own, what if you're on your own property?
Yeah, so I think that's what everyone's making fun of at the moment. So even if you're going out to check your mailbox, you should have a mask on in case someone sees you. And it's actually pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You know, what's funny is the first lockdown that the entire world had, we got out of that pretty quickly. In Australia for the last year, so from about, I think it was like June, we've had a pretty good run. And I remember because I was working for a company in the States, and I had to travel back and forth quite a fair bit. And I remember that came to an end. And but I do remember that entire office going into lockdown, and they went into lockdown for the next year. So they were in California, and I remember we were just completely normal. And then now that everyone's the whole world is going back to normal, we've kind of been hit with that total lockdown all over again. So it's almost like, for us, it's like living COVID properly for the first time. Yeah. It feels like the first time.
Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, where I am in the States, I'd say, I mean, it depends, also radically depends on if you're in a rural area versus an urban area. Obviously, urban areas are going to be stricter versus rural areas typically aren't. And that's not just unique to the United States. I think that's kind of a worldwide thing between cultural and political differences between urban and rural. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. And someone here just mentioned that they live in Byron Bay. Shout out to you.
Oh, right.
Dylan. That's probably my favorite place in Australia. And he just said that they don't feel it as much there. And you wouldn't, because, it's not so much, like, we're in what they call the epicenter right now of this country. So I just don't understand the phased lockdowns at the moment. Like, they did it bit by bit, suburb by suburb. I think it should have just been the whole city and then get over and done with. And they didn't do that, and now it's kind of gone out of control. I think it's like 239 or upwards of 200 daily at the moment.
Yeah, that's wild. You know, this conversation is kind of making me think of something else I was thinking about actually earlier today, and when I was on Ross Nichols' stream earlier as well. And it's something that I've been thinking about more and more, and something I've taken more notice of over time, and that is, I think many times there's a fair amount of people that are unable to distinguish their perhaps cultural preferences and just kind of their everyday lifestyle preferences from political opinions and preferences. And so a lot of times when people are expressing what they feel strongly to be their politics, it's actually a more of a subconscious cultural bias that they have. And consequentially, a lot of these folks are unable to think about things critically issue by issue. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, but I think where do you draw the line, right? So many people's opinions are influenced by those beliefs. So it's so hard to separate it and think about it independently. I think that's where the issue is.
Zero Fox says, Steven, marry Sadaf so she can come to America and get her freedom back.
Are you guys free?
We're more free than what you are right now.
This is like the green card thing all over again. Huh?
Well, Sadaf, I have a nice big garage for your emerging gym. So, that's funny, you guys. Yeah, it is kind of a living in a science fiction movie. It really is, and it makes you wonder. Makes you wonder when it will end. It makes you wonder if there will be if a certain level of this is going to be absolute a new societal norm and permanence, or if things are going to get back to normal ever. Right now, just things like huge mass gatherings of music concerts just seems like such a distant concept, doesn't it?
Honestly, it does. It just actually makes me think. I had just with the shift in obviously what's doing better in the economy and what's not, and what the new norm is, and it was crazy because back in the days, I think things like hand sanitizer, they were just, they were nice to haves. You never really saw people like actually having it, right? Like it was very rare to see someone have it in their car or have it in their home. And ever since this virus, I had a family friend so I do a lot of business consulting, and for the last 7 years she's just been telling me that she wants to start a business. And every time I'd ask her what she wanted to do, she'd say, I don't know, I just want to sell toilet paper. And I used to think that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And I'd be like, why do you want to sell toilet paper? She's like, because it's an essential, like you can make money. And when I go back to, March 2020, I don't know if you guys saw what was happening with toilet paper in Australia, but it was out of control.
It was here too, yeah.
It was out of control, and it was so funny because I don't think I'd ever be able to live that down. She repeats it every day.
Sure.
But that's like, you see the shift in like you see actual like fashion labels now having all these like masks that match your outfits, and like it's actually crazy. It's nothing like I would have. It was definitely not what I envisioned in the world. Yeah,
it definitely is kind of evolving into a Black Mirror episode. It's interesting to see. I mean, we'll see. We'll see where we're sitting at a year from now. What level of normalcy will have been established or not. But right now, when everything started breaking loose last year, I believe around February, March, if someone were to say, hey, a full year and a half later, you're going to still be pretty much in the thick of this stuff, I'm not sure if I would have believed him. How about you?
Definitely not. I remember because I was in the States November and December 2019.
Yeah.
And when I got back end of December, I do remember family friends from Canada and New York just talking about it. And they were all traveling to, I think it was Cuba or something, but the group chat was really weird because we were so isolated from it, and we hadn't even read it, we hadn't seen anything about it on the news. It was just a hearsay, and everyone was freaking out about it. And I remember we were literally making fun of it. We're like, oh yeah, it's a virus, get over it. It's like Ebola and SARS, it comes and goes. And but it was, January, we didn't think anything of it. By March, it changed the world. But you know what's actually crazy? I see, back on the topic of masks, I honestly see people, when you go to the grocery stores here, people literally get out of their cars and, like, you can see the mask, they're trying to look for a mask inside the car. They'll grab anything, they'll shake it out, it'll fall on the floor, they'll pick it up and they'll put it on. And I just think, just because obviously they don't want to fine, because they're fining people about $500 here if you're caught not wearing a mask. And it's crazy because I'm like, the bacteria that's on that mask that you've just picked up is probably so much worse than what you're about to, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's another topic too, wherein you see many people. In fact, I have one of my best friends for many years. He is one of these guys that it doesn't matter where he is. I mean, I remember one time I was driving home after I closed up my business for the day, and I saw him walking by his lonesome by the lake, on the lakefront, by himself, no one else around, fully masked up. And I just thought to myself, what? And I just...
you see people here wearing it in the car.
Like, by themselves. Yeah, he's one of those too, but when he's even by himself driving the car, is that as well. But it, to me, it's just, I understand having a respect for other people when you are in public places, like if you're, getting groceries and you're running errands and you're going into private businesses and, retail shops and whatever. That to me is understandable. But then there's like a whole next leveling of, I just really having a hard time coming to grips with the level and exertion of the authority of going on in your country right now, respectfully, wherein a single person can't even legally go get their mail on their own property without masking up. Is that correct? Legally?
Yeah. Well, if the police or the army do see you, then you do risk a fine for not wearing it. And you know what's really hard? Like my mum, she's a third-time cancer patient now, and she lives about 10 minutes away from me, but she has regular injections that she's taking as part of her treatment every 3 weeks. And every time I'm driving to her place to pick her up, because obviously I do all of that for her. Like, even though I've got such a legitimate reason, in my mind I'm like, oh my god, like how do I explain this when someone does pull me up? Because she doesn't drive, she doesn't do any of those things. And like, in terms of what's allowed, it is definitely a scenario that is okay, but it's just that I think that fear component, it's crazy at the moment.
Yeah, it's interesting, guys. I can tell you firsthand, just being honest, the situation here in the States, especially when news first really started setting in for most of us. So I'd say that was around the beginning of March, end of February, somewhere in there last year. I was under the impression that we were literally dealing with, to be clear, this is not to marginalize what has transpired. I just want to be clear about that. But I don't know about you, but before we knew anything, I was under the impression that we were literally embarking something of a Black Plague scenario. Where...
Oh yeah, do you remember the videos from Wuhan, like everyone dropping?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what we kind of expected to happen here, but daily you're like, we've had one death and it was a 105-year-old. Like, they could have died from anything.
Sure.
It's crazy.
Sure, and I know that that city that starts with a W is another YouTube trigger just for posterity there, but yeah. So I mean, I was under the impression that I'm not exaggerating. That I thought maybe like 40% of society was at risk of being just wiped off the planet.
Yeah.
You know. And I just recall the amount of anxiety that put me through was, to be honest with you, was quite severe. And it really, and I know a lot of people probably feel the same way. So I guess what I'm saying is, what I'm getting at is there has to be, we have to find a way going forward wherein we speak of these things more, we approach these things more responsibly in terms of how we talk about them. Because I think what we're not weighing in enough, looking back and even to where we're at now, in its totality, is the devastating effects this has on people's outlooks and their mental health. I just don't think it's responsible to roll something like this out and make everybody think they're on the verge of literal mass death and destruction to the tune of Black Plague proportions. What do you say?
It's crazy. Do you realize when it first broke out here, I do remember, because I've got like anxiety and I've got a bit of asthma, and I remember bringing on like an anxiety attack on myself, and just like, I don't even know how it happened, but I was struggling to breathe, and it was from, reading about all these things, watching all these things, and I can't imagine how many other people that happened to, but I think that was the goal, right? To freak you out so much, and it's not actually that bad. So yeah, I don't know what they're triggering with the messaging,
right?
But if you didn't know any better, you're freaking out, and you're like self-inflicted harm. So
yeah. Yeah, I totally hear you. Josh Randell disavows. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Appreciate it, Josh. Does Sadaf have a boyfriend asking, what has gotten into you guys tonight? Does Sadaf have a boyfriend asking for a shaved headed friend that looks very much like me? Josh Randell disavows. Thank you very much for your contribution. Sadaf, you don't have to answer that.
You could have asked for free. Sadaf is actually married.
Ah, there you go.
Married, but Josh, he doesn't believe in crypto. He doesn't believe in any of this stuff. So.
Oh my.
Just putting it out there.
So he's not into any of this stuff.
Oh, he thinks it's gambling.
Okay.
It's crazy.
I mean, to a certain degree, it's true, but I mean, it's true as stocks are as well,
Oh yeah, no, he just thinks any of this is gambling. He's like, this is crazy. But yeah, no, we were actually one of those extremely unlucky couples that tried to plan an event for an entire year, and COVID kept shitting on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so eventually we just had like a gathering of like 40 people, but it was crazy because on the morning of the day I had my wedding planner call me up and say, oh look, there's been an outbreak towards a particular area, and if any of your guests are from that area, they're not invited anymore. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me that you're calling the bride the morning of and you're asking me to just determine where the fuck my guests are from. It was crazy. But people really didn't know how to handle what was going on. So, yeah.
Someone's calling the fact that you're married FUD. I like that. That's funny.
He actually tried calling me at the start of the show.
Yeah.
And I canceled the call and I said I'm doing important things. And I
Yes.
sent a screenshot of the YouTube thumbnail, and he's like, "Oh, you're hanging out with your gambling buddies."
That a girl. Priorities.
Hey guys, I prioritize you. Yeah.
Nice. Just put them on the back burner. I love it. So thank you, Sadaf.
Thank you for being so concerned about my welfare, everybody in that chat.
Yeah, for sure. It's that kind of community. This is the kind of show where many times that we'll just we'll take different turns and detours away from crypto, and that's the nature of the show. Honestly, it's one of the things that differentiates this show from anything else that you can get in the crypto sphere, and I personally like it that way, particularly since this is a show that's on almost nightly, right? So, do you really want to stare at charts and do TA 3 hours a night, 7 days a week? I do not. So, yeah. So,
Crazy.
yeah, I appreciate this conversation, and to me, the big takeaway is this, Sadaf. I just think that people need to be more empathetic of each other in terms of the decisions that people make for themselves. Many times, I don't think people are considering the story behind the person. You know what I mean? So, if someone's going to get super upset that somebody's out walking without their mask and are maybe going to have a drink somewhere in the middle of this thing, well, for certain people, that could be the difference between them sticking around on the planet or offing themselves, frankly. Because when you are talking about locking mass societies up for, upwards of a year and a half, 2 years, it's going to have some pretty serious consequences, honestly. So I just think people need to be a bit more, try to be a bit more empathetic and understanding where others may be coming from in that regard,
Yeah, 100%. I think expecting anything at this stage from anyone is hard, because I don't know if anyone is thinking with a clear headspace. So some of the most basic things that you expect in society at the moment, you're not really receiving.
Right.
Everyone's just as confused. Yeah.
So, curving things on to some crypto talk, and right now we are looking. Right now we are looking at an extremely bullish week for Ethereum, to the tune of almost 11% now. Now we are in a bit of a retracement now compared to where it was at its most recent ATH, a bit over 2,700. But now we are at $2,570 about there, and we seem to be upwards toward. Looks like we're headed towards 2,600 again, which is incredibly bullish. Bitcoin reaching, what was it, 42,000 something, 42,550 not too long ago, just yesterday. That was the first time it's pierced 42,000 and gotten anywhere near that high since early May. So this is very, very significant. And now, and that puts up Bitcoin, just for a little perspective, an increase of about 4.5% over a week, which may not sound like a lot, but when you consider, again, you guys, that Bitcoin's running at a market cap of $747 billion. That's still very significant. And then Dogecoin is more trading. It's actually down today, about almost 5% compared to where it was yesterday. So people are just kind of wondering what's going on with Doge. Well, if you look at the not even a super long history of these three as far as their chart records go, but even just very recent crypto history has often showed patterns wherein Ethereum will run almost identical, like spot on identical to Bitcoin, and then things switch up wherein Doge, once Bitcoin and Ethereum start going through a bit of retracement, Doge really starts to take off. And based on the charting and the algorithms that we've seen over the past, 3 or 4 months, I have reason to believe that this is a strong possibility wherein we could see Doge now start to show some nice pumps, maybe even soon as the twilight hour over here, or fairly certainly tomorrow. You've seen a bit of this, haven't you?
Yeah, so that's generally how it happens. So once Ethereum kind of takes off, the rest of the alts have their turn. So I mean, as long as Ethereum kind of holds at that 2-3 area, I think we will see a nice little pump for the alts.
Yep, and that's going to definitely extend to Doge, all the way down, I think, to even currencies like Matic and Polkadot and things like that. But Doge, I think, could very well likely be in for a nice run starting tomorrow. And so what is notable about this is both Ethereum and Bitcoin are at breaking levels of resistance right now, frankly. So for all three of these, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Doge, I think we're in for a very interesting, exciting next couple of weeks here. Now, for the last few months, there were various aspects of what could be described certainly as FUD, cloudy in the market, and now it seems like we're finally shedding all of this, finally leaving a lot of this behind. The Chinese government obviously has played a significant role in this. Now, the silver lining is, to me, I wasn't terribly discouraged when the Chinese government started making Bitcoin mining illegal, because there's not going to be any less miners, you guys. And as an American, knowing over 70% of those mining efforts are going to be relocated here in America, I'm rather excited about it. And even out of that 70%, I think over 50% of those miners are going to be ending up in Texas, good old Texas, here in the USA. And so I think and have predicted that even as soon as a year from now, Texas could shape up to be the basically a crypto mining epicenter of the entire planet. So to me, that's pretty exciting. Sadaf, I don't know how it is over there, but we have a few mayors of major metropolitan areas already that have embraced Bitcoin, embraced cryptocurrency, and have been taking legislative measures and infrastructure measures to make their cities very cryptocurrency friendly and ready to embrace a digital currency future. Are you seeing any of that sort of thing over where you're at?
Look, this is exactly why I need this request that's out there open, this offer to move there, because we aren't doing shit here. They're not doing anything here. Nobody believes in it. I look like an idiot talking about it most of the time, but yeah, it's crazy. The only kind of thing that you do see is very subtle, like job posts for major companies and major institutions looking to hire people in the blockchain field, crypto. Like, you don't actually know what's happening or what they're kind of standing a team up for, but it's coming. I don't know who wants to make the first move, but at the moment there's not really anybody. But just on the topic of some of these prices, am I the only one that's seeing on my timeline people still calling 10,000, 10K BTC? I've seen some sevens. I see a lot of 17 to 20. Yeah, there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, I know certain folks, and a couple of folks in the chat were suggesting that Bitcoin's going to 20,000 and below. I don't really see that at this point, guys. I think that the levels of severe retracement for Bitcoin for now, I think, have been left behind us. Now, I could see BTC going down to perhaps 32, 31,000 for a bit. I could see that before ramping up again and retesting. But 20 and below, I just don't see it. I do not think the era of Bitcoin dominance is going to be going away anytime super soon. I do think it will be going away eventually, most likely at the hands of Ethereum. But I don't think that Bitcoin dominance is something that's going to happen within the year, guys. But I do think it's going to happen at the hands of Ethereum. That is my personal opinion. What do you say, Sadaf?
Yeah, look, I think just maybe about 29, but no more than that. And that's if we had a really big correction. But I don't see 7 or 10,000. I do not see that.
Yeah, no way. Fatali, thank you for the $1. Thank you for the $1 American dollar. Between that and the previous super chat of $2, I can now buy some toothpaste. Thank you, guys. I think that it was interesting because towards the start of the year, Sadaf, most all crypto projections were putting end of year Bitcoin somewhere around 95, 100,000, myself included. My prediction was a bit more modest on Bitcoin to the tune of anywhere between 85 and 90,000. Now, oh boy, does that seem incredibly far away. Nobody really foresaw the level of retracement that had bestowed upon us. And because there were several, an accumulation of FUD factors that together were just almost impossible to predict. That being said, me with my end of year prediction on Bitcoin being between 85 and 90,000 is quite reasonable compared to BitBoy Crypto's former end of year prediction on Bitcoin, which was 300,000. Can you believe that?
Yeah, look, I still believe it'll be somewhere between 90 to 120. I think what we had with Elon's announcement earlier on in the year, I think that was it wasn't an organic spike. I think that was like major FOMO. I think what's happening right now would have been the trend that continued if we didn't have news like that. And I do think we're gonna hit some big numbers this cycle, or otherwise it's not really a cycle. It just wouldn't make sense. But just on the topic of like major institutions buying in, because I know it seems far away, but I think that will all start happening once we get some announcements, from Amazon and Apple. And it's crazy because Amazon did, deny that, they've bought anything, but at the same time, literally just go on Google and type in Amazon roles in crypto and blockchain.
Yes.
And there's so many roles out there. They're hiring. So why would you be hiring if you weren't, looking to do anything in that space? So I think it's just too early to probably disclose that information at the moment. And again, they probably don't want that kind of hype and FOMO. But when it does come, it'll all come at the same time and it will go crazy.
Yeah, I tend to feel the same. Beto coming in with a $5 super chat. Hey, Steve, please take my lunch money. Thanks, sir. At this rate, I will gladly take your lunch money. So thank you so much, Beto. Appreciate you tuning in again, my friend. On to the next topic here, guys. And this was a pretty funny one, and I had to kind of do a double take when I was reading about it. And this comes courtesy of a local Fox affiliate in Salt Lake City. Get this, the title of the article is Utah Man Trying to Sell His Home for Dogecoin. In Saratoga Springs, Utah, cryptocurrency is rising in popularity. I don't know if there's one person that knew that Saratoga Springs, Utah was in a hotbed for rising in cryptocurrency popularity. And that's just interesting. It's not like a huge city or anything like that. It's very remote. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Dogecoin are just a few of the well-known ones. Now, people like Scott Paul are trying to invest in them more because they believe it's the future of currency. Smart man. He's the founder of Woolly and said he has a big interest in cryptocurrency. I got lucky and got into Ethereum and Bitcoin in 2015, and then I was just one of those individuals who believed in the stories I was hearing that one day it would become a lot more. Well, he must feel pretty vindicated at this point, guys. The Saratoga Springs homeowner is trying to get someone to buy his house for $400,000, but he says he will give someone a negotiable discount of about 10% if they buy it all with Dogecoin. There are a couple.
So,
Go ahead.
What a smart man. He's selling one house, but he's going to be able to buy probably 10.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, I think this is brilliant. Currency, you would have to convert your current cryptocurrency into US dollar for a traditional escrow company to be able to hold it up and facilitate the transaction, said Julian Folks, the senior manager of listing operations at Homey. Let's see if there's any other pertinent information in this article. Paul said he has already gotten 2 offers from people to buy the home in cryptocurrency. So this looks like this is going to happen. This is a very smart and savvy move, wouldn't you say, Sadaf?
Extremely. I think it's only the start. I honestly can't wait. We don't have many things that you can buy with crypto here. Like I think there's a few bills you can pay. There's a few, different little companies popping up where they're trying to make that integration, but we literally can't. And I know that you guys can buy cars there, right? At least.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't have any of that, and it's crazy. A lot of people have a lot of crypto, but they're forced to constantly convert that to cash. And I think we'll see that happening for a while until it's like obviously fully adopted. But I'd love to just not exchange this stuff for fiat. So.
Yeah. I think this is incredibly savvy. I mean, even if he wanted to play it really safe, Sadaf, he could cash in his $400 worth of new Dogecoins just on the next significant market rise, which is absolutely inevitable. So even if he wanted to play it cautiously, he could cash out at a 30% profit in the relatively near future on 400,000, which is fantastic.
He could take his initial, house value and then let the rest just run.
Totally. That's exactly what I would do. Beto coming in $2 super chat. Thank you, Beto. Sadaf looking for a crypto boyfriend. My DMs. What is going on to you guys tonight? Fatali, $2 super chat. Take my you're that money. Steele, I gotta say, I have to watch what I say out loud on the on YouTube, guys. So just understand, I do see your super chat. Steele.
Can I just say that Celeste just made a really cool. Where is it? She said we don't want to get bitboyed. I think that should become a thing.
We don't want to get bitboyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want to get bitboyed. Yeah, guys. I put so much work into this channel. I hope you understand. Sometimes I do have to err on the side of caution. But yeah, Sadaf, you're collecting a bit of a simp army tonight. I'm just.
Hey, you know what's funny?
Yeah.
I had, for some reason, anytime I post a picture of myself and it's fully clothed, like it's probably the most decent picture I can find, on my Twitter, I get the DMs come in and they're so aggressive, right? Or just the comments on the photo.
Right,
I think someone called it prostitution the other day. It's crazy, right?
What?
But what I always, it's crazy. What I always do though is before I block the haters, I always send them. So I'll go on their account and then I'll have a look. Like someone will be like H bar whatever to the moon. I'll be like, okay, cool. I'll send my H bar address or whatever coin I know that they're invested in.
Yeah.
And I'll ask them for, put 10,000 of this, and then I might forgive you. And yesterday was the first time
someone filed through.
Had a deposit. Yes.
Wow.
So yeah, it was really funny. I think you guys should all, any hate you get, just send me your address. You never know.
That's female privilege. That never happened to me.
No, it's not. These people are haters. Hey, from like the 300 people I've blocked in a matter of a month, there's one person that was through. Those are terrible statistics. So, but it worked.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's not a situation that I would man would ever find himself in, saying to a woman, "You better apologize for your lewd comments." And as a consequence of me, if you don't want me to block you, you better send me 10,000 Doge coins right now.
I'm just apologize. Like, why would you make a comment like that?
No, I hear you. It's I don't even know what to say. It's just not how I operate. It's the kind of it's hard for me to wrap my head around it, actually. I get it, but I don't. You know what I mean?
And my posts are always I don't know. There's always humor and some sarcasm, but it was a post of me looking back, and I just said I'm looking at the bears. Looking back at the bears. You have to read the comments. It's some of them are atrocious, and some of them are just so funny. Yeah,
a combination of atrocious and funny. Right. So next story here, guys. This is speaking to what is, and again, what I touched on a little bit earlier, what is seeming almost to be a foregone conclusion for an emerging Dogecoin rally incoming. And there's several sources for technical analysis, including my own, that seem to indicate this. So, the Dogecoin price confirms a triangle breakout on the 4H chart. So this looks like to me to be a target of around 30% amid a renewed upside of momentum. So that's what I think. I think we could see 30 cents within a week, and this definitely is just kind of an extension of my prediction from about 3 or 4 nights ago, I believe, where I said on the air that I still felt that Dogecoin rally up to about 30 cents was going to happen within about a 2-week time period. Now I'm saying I'm sticking with my initial prediction because I still think this is likely anyway, that we could see a Dogecoin rally up to 30-ish cents within the next 7 or 8 days, because we are showing a really solid start to August, and in August typically there's a lot of there's a fresh buyer's wave around this time of year anyway, but the fact that Bitcoin, like I said before, reached its a 3-month ATH is an extremely bullish sign. So Dogecoin, it's gained about 5% in the last, well, not today, but yesterday it gained about 5% and is retraced already about 5%. But overall, it's still the 11th most traded coin. That's still posting gains that are just exceptional compared to most everything else going on right now. So, you know, when I go further up on that 30-cent mark, I think that's where it's going to start testing and justifying the move higher to the RSI, and I think it's gonna hold comfortably above that midline, while probably sitting beneath the what I would, I guess, for lack of a better term, overbought territories. So I definitely think I'd give, like, if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd put it like 75%, 75% probability Dogecoin rally upwards of around 30% within the next 7 to 10 days, guys. So we'll see. That is everything I've been looking at looks like to be the most likely scenario. Now, coming with that, I think we're going to see some pretty bullish results for Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. But I think we're probably going to keep seeing this back and forth pattern, wherein when Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to likely keep pumping together, where Dogecoin is going to stand still and then pick up and alternate when while Bitcoin and Ethereum retraces or trades sideways. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just someone had a prediction here for $1.40, and my prediction is actually $1.10 for this bull run for Doge. Not financial.
So are you saying $1.10 end of year, or
end of bull run?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's very bullish. Gosh, I don't know if I'd put it that high, but I'm always all my instincts are telling me to make more modest predictions in 2021, but I think that 2022 is likely going to be massive, much more so than 2021. So my end of years and even my bull run predictions are more modest than most. That being said, I think 2022 is going to be massive, absolutely massive. So let's see here. Next story that I got is pretty fascinating. So this comes courtesy of Hypebeast. A single Ethereum whale has spent more than $6 million USD on one CryptoPunk NFT. It's just wild. An Ethereum whale has spent $6 million US on purchasing one NFT from CryptoPunks. According to new reports, the single buyer has now accumulated more than 1% of the entire CryptoPunks collection, the limited series of 10,000 non-fungible tokens with an extremely active resale market. In 2017, its creators handed them away for free. Can you imagine being the recipient of some CryptoPunks artwork in 2017 for free? And now realizing that, let's say you got like even one of the first wave of CryptoPunks artwork for free in 2017, you're a multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
On one NFT.
Yeah, Gary V just purchased something as well.
Yeah, Gary V has been super big on these really high pro. I don't know if that was a CryptoPunks purchase or not.
It was.
Okay, it was. Yeah. I knew that he's been making some tremendously huge NFT investments, and I wasn't quite sure if it was a CryptoPunks one. Wow. Yeah, this is really wild. You know, it's one of these things where I'm of the persuasion that the massive auction prices for NFTs right now, I think we're in a pretty big bubble right now, personally, and I don't think this is going to I really don't think this is going to continue, with the caveat exception of a very short list of high profile established NFT artists like the CryptoPunks collaborative and Beeple. But outside of that, I don't think we're going to be seeing much of the likes what we're seeing now in the NFT market, wherein kind of seemingly random rogue artists are getting, upwards of $1 million+ for random NFTs. I think we're still kind of in a bit of a Wild West phase regarding that, but I don't see how logically long-term there's going to be enough money to go around to sustain those kind of auction results on a mass scale for NFTs. So I tend to think we're in a bubble. I do think that I will say that I do think NFTs are here, absolutely here to stay. They're going to keep flourishing and growing, particularly I think in the sports trading cards markets. But obviously art as well. But I do think that we're in kind of a inflated bubble on the art market. What do you say, Sadaf?
Yeah, I agree. I think the FOMO and the hype right now for it is as a result of people like Gary Vee making those big purchases. Yeah. I think we just need to wait for the pullback, wait for it to settle down. But also this NFT space is honestly probably one of the craziest things that we're going to live through. Like the fact that people are creating these galleries and these albums of things they hold in the digital world. It really says a lot about the shift that we're going through.
Yeah, I think
digital, yeah. Download of our biological selves.
Did you say the digital download of our biological selves?
Yeah.
Say that 3 times fast. Yeah, but I think you raise a good point there. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this shakes out going forward. I know even people that I'm close to in the space, other content creators, they're putting a lot of money on various crypto technologies that are solely NFT based. And it's interesting to me because I see the results of these kinds of NFTs, and many times to me it looks like a superimposed 3D animated like Ferrari or sports car on whatever environment your phone is pointing to. And I guess that's cool if you're like a kid, you know what I mean? But to put a lot of exorbitant value on the programming for those NFTs, like one by one, I just don't see it. I really don't see it. It just kind of looks kind of rather gimmicky to me. That being said, there is, I'm a little bit outside of my scope of expertise now. I really am, but I believe it's Omi. I believe that Omi is the company in cryptocurrency that has an app that's coming out wherein people will be able to project these kind of 3D looking NFTs on whatever they want, this kind of thing. I can see this kind of thing catching on very much so with kids and young people and becoming wildly popular in that capacity. I think at least has a potential to. But anyway, let's see here.
It's a hole.
Yeah.
Hole.
It is such a rabbit hole. Next story here. This comes courtesy of Business Insider. Our man Elon back in the news. And the headline is, Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet is acquiring a license to provide blanket coverage to Britain. Telegraph reports. Elon Musk's Starlink will seek to provide high-speed internet across Great Britain. The company is filing with the Isle of Man's communications regulator to set up a ground station and install equipment on the island. Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet venture has secured a license to construct a satellite ground station on the Isle of Man, which will provide blanket coverage across Great Britain. The Telegraph reports Starlink, part of Elon Musk's SpaceX, has filed an application with the communications regulator for the Isle of Man to improve its broadband coverage for rural areas in northern Britain that cannot be reached by fiber broadband or 5G internet, as reported. The only other part of the story I think that is pertinent is this. They will be obtaining license for low orbit satellites like the ones Starlink uses, and we're halting any current or new applications. However, the regulators said that they were in the final stages of issuing one license that was developed with the proposed guideline. Ofcom did not comment on who filed the application. Starlink cannot be reached by the time of publication. So, this is a pretty huge power move by Starlink and by Elon that is seeking to provide high-speed internet across the entire continent of Great Britain. And from what I understand, there is a huge need for more secure, consistent, high-speed internet throughout Great Britain. So this could be a big competition killer if these licenses get passed. What do you say?
I mean, yeah, that guy's on a roll, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really on a roll. And you know what, guys? I am not even going to read the chat. I'm not even going to read the chat room tonight. You guys are just out of control. You guys are ridiculous tonight, man. This is funny because this is also right off the heels of Elon Musk saying that it was just so funny because there was this rumor we covered on the show last night. There's this guy named Tim Higgins who just released a tell-all of the business history of Elon Musk, a supposed tell-all, and in the book, what would be considered the apex of excitement in this book that Tim Higgins is putting out, he claims that at one point Elon Musk was trying to be CEO of Apple and push Tim Cook out. And not only did Elon Musk deny that this ever happened, but he says there's zero truth to it. And he says he has more than enough evidence to prove that. And Viv, a close friend of his and designer for him, spoke out against it too, saying it was complete hogwash, and she posted a timeline of events that really stood in the face of objection, rather, in the face of what Tim Higgins wrote in his book. And I did a bit of background on Tim Higgins. I wouldn't say he's a wildly popular author, and the way, I know it's not fair to judge people on their appearance, but he just got a pretty slimy look to me. To me, he absolutely seemed like a guy that would fabricate a story like this in order to sell a bunch of books. So that is my instinct on that. But getting to a larger point that I wanted to put forth out of that story is when somebody asked him if he ever was trying to be the CEO of Apple, or if he ever would want to. His response on Twitter to them last night was, "I don't want to be CEO of anything."
He definitely comes across as somebody that wants to be the boss of his own baby, not the boss of anybody else's baby.
Yes, that's so well stated. And that was the first general concept that came to mind for me as well, Sadaf. And he's kind of, don't get me wrong, he definitely strikes me as a guy that likes to be in charge, but likes to be in charge of only the things he's genuinely has a strong passion for. And I just don't think Apple would be it. I really don't. But it was also interesting to see Elon Musk take some not so shielded barbs against Apple this last few days as well, kind of faulting Tim Cook for being greedy when it comes to the exorbitant fees they charge app developers just to carry their app on the store, to the tune of taking 30% profits from certain apps as their commission, basically their take on it. I think that's pretty excessive. But I will remind you that actually YouTube is no different. YouTube takes 30% of all my Superchat money, which is yeah.
Isn't Apple creating an EV at the moment, which is why there's so much chaos between Elon and Apple?
Yeah, essentially, yeah, that is what's going on. Yeah, that's definitely playing a factor. What's going on? No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Next story here. This one's kind of funny. This comes courtesy of Bitcoin.com. IT specialists caught mining cryptocurrency at a police headquarters in Poland. Poland police have uncovered a secret crypto mining operation. This is wild. Polish police have uncovered a secret crypto mining operation at their own headquarters in Warsaw, local media reported. An IT specialist accused of minting digital coins on police computers has been dismissed, and the case has been handed over to the prosecutor's office. This is wild. Officers from the Polish National Police have found what local media describe as a crypto mining farm at the Policia headquarters in Warsaw. The mining operation, which was very extensive, was allegedly organized by an IT technician, a civilian employee on the law enforcement agency. The porthole reported, quoting two independent sources. The crypto miner used police computers that he upgraded with video cards and specialized software. Although the mining equipment has probably consumed a serious amount of electricity due to the energy-intensive coin minting processes, the biggest worry is that the records from the police database might have been leaked, one of the sources noted. Oh my. And the article just finishes up by saying this. Polish police representative added that the case has already been transferred to the district prosecutor's office of Warsaw. Experts are now working to assess the losses for the police service in terms on the amount of electricity used to mine digital currencies. This is hilarious. So as we know, the amount of energy in the electric bills that would be associated with mining any substantial amount of Bitcoin are rather astronomical. So to me, it's super funny that this IT guy working within the police headquarters in Warsaw basically is just using all the electricity and all the CPU power there to churn out some Bitcoin mining. This is the first I've ever seen this sort of thing reported, but I'm certainly, when I read this story, Sadaf, I thought to myself, this certainly is something that has to have been going on in other parts of the world. This has to be kind of a thing that's happening wherein IT workers are using the resources of their place of employment for mining cryptocurrency, don't you think?
You know what it reminded me of? I definitely think people are doing this, but it reminded me of back to the toilet paper crisis. You had people pinching toilet paper from their offices. you literally had people caught on camera stealing toilet paper from like their place of work.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like, you know, people see an opportunity and they'll take it.
Yeah. You know, that kind of reminds me of something really silly and stupid. There's this kid who's got a TikTok, and he goes by like, I don't know, like the teenage future millionaire or something silly like that. And he considers himself a kind of a financial guru of sorts, and he's like 12 or 13. And some of his TikToks are so far-fetched. One of them I saw said, if you, every time you go to Chick-fil-A, and that's a fast food restaurant here, if you ask for extra ketchup and take as many free ketchups as possible, every time you go to Chick-fil-A, over the course of a year, you will have saved X amount of dollars on money that you would spend on ketchup throughout the year. Throughout the course of 10 years, you'll have saved up this amount of money, which you can invest in a top 500 stock, which could make you millions and therefore make you a millionaire off of ketchup packets. It's just like, okay. It's like, I can't tell if this is parody or if he's trying to be serious, but I checked out the kid's channel. It was definitely not parody.
Yeah, people, he's cute.
What's that? It's cute. It's cute.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Actually, you know what? If you saw the kid, you would think it was less cute because he's a real cocky little bugger.
Right. I just feel like he probably would have had more success just telling people to put aside $500 to invest in something over 10 or 20 years rather than getting, causing a chaos at Chick-fil-A stores.
Yeah, to me, it's what makes it so funny. It's just like, what a stretch. I mean, by that logic, you could really apply that to an infinite number of things. And maybe that's the idea. At that point, you have an infinite well of TikTok concepts, right?
Sorry?
I said you could really apply that sort of logic and thinking to so many different things that you really have an infinite well of resources for your TikToks. Hey, Karen Smith, Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Invest in that dog money. Shidosi says, we're all about that dog money here on Steven Steele Live.
I think everyone's a little upset to hear that YouTube takes 30% of your super chats, Stephen.
Yeah, that's true. Not only did they take 30% of my super chats, but I haven't made one dime off of YouTube yet. I'm still waiting for my. They won't see. I can't even get access to my YouTube earnings until I receive a verification PIN number in the mail. And for whatever reason, in 2021, they send it through snail mail to get a verification PIN. And it's supposed to take about 30 days, and it's been a little over 3 months since I've been waiting. I actually asked for a second PIN to be sent out now, and that still hasn't arrived. And then I got to wait another. I need to wait 30 days from the moment that I requested my second PIN number before I can ask for a third PIN number. And then after 4 months of being here's the thing that sucks too. After 4 months of being a YouTube partner, if I don't enter that verification code, then I get demonetized as a channel. So they put me in this like precarious catch-22 scenario. But I was like doing some research on this issue, and there's a girl that put out a pretty good video that showed kind of like a workaround nuclear option in the event that I don't get my third PIN. But you have to have at least made 3 PIN requests before you could qualify for this workaround that she proposed. So it's just ridiculous. So yeah, I've been Josh Rendell, 3 months. That means Steele's going to get like $3K from me. Christopher James, Steve, you better visit that local post office. You are not kidding, my friend. You are not kidding. And this, I'm pulling up, this is from the BBC. I touched on this story a little bit earlier. Just the headline of the story is, Elon Musk, I don't want to be CEO of anything. It's CEO Elon Musk that says the company doesn't need one. Instead, in a similar way to Trump, he used Twitter rather than press releases to communicate. And on Friday, he was in full effect Elon Musk mode on a new book coming out about the Tesla CEO. One story, this is what we just talked about, and that is alleged in 2016 when Tesla was in trouble. Musk reached out to Apple's Tim Cook, who he thought might want to buy the company. Actually, this is true. This did happen. The story goes on that Elon Musk insisted that as part of the deal, he be made, this part isn't true, that he be made CEO of Apple. Tim Cook told him where to go. Without a press office to comment on the story, I asked Musk on Twitter whether this was true. He responded, Cook and I have never spoken or even written to each other ever. There was a point wherein I requested to meet with Cook to Apple about Apple buying Tesla. There were no conditions to the acquisition proposed whatsoever. Cook refused to meet. Tesla was worth about 6% of today's value. So blessing in disguise. Just imagine if he would have made that deal for the acquisition. Tesla was only worth 6% of what it is today. And then it shows Elon's response to someone saying, Elon could be a much better CEO for Apple. Elon responded, I don't want to be CEO of anything. This is just classic Elon stuff. Just pretty hilarious stuff here. Really no surprise. Pretty funny, pretty whimsical, and obviously smartass. So yeah, what do you say? There's
a lot going on between them.
Yeah, definitely a lot going on. And to me, it was very surprising that he was trying to get Apple to buy Tesla back in 2016, which is, to me, it doesn't feel that long ago at all. And it was only worth 6% of what it is now. Gosh, I wish I would have. I remember combing over buying Tesla stocks, and like many things in life, I just didn't pull the trigger on it. Hindsight's always 20/20, but I even knew at that time that it was a pretty sure bet, and still kicking myself for not getting on Tesla in 2016. Man, oh man.
Do you know that when I was working with the last few companies in Silicon Valley, so they were all tech startups, what I noticed that this tech startup culture, it's almost like one in every 1,000 companies that are starting up actually believe in their vision and don't want to be bought out and just want to live it through. Everybody else is in this desperate, race to be bought out. And sometimes it's so cringe and it's so obvious.
Right.
Whether your company's doing well or you're just trying to offload it because you don't see it going anywhere. But one of the companies that I was working for, there was a big tech conference in San Fran that everyone got together at, and I was pushing the Australia, New Zealand, Asia Pacific market over here. And I remember one of the people that my former CEO met up with, my CEO came to me and said, we've had great conversations, he's really interested, and talk to him. He's a good contact of mine and we networked a lot, and it was very positive. But when I came to Australia and I met this individual, that individual just said to me, this gentleman was cringe. And he goes, the entire time that I was speaking to him, I knew exactly what the purpose of that conversation was, and that was to get me to buy this company. And basically he shut me down. And it's crazy because so many people can pick up on that, and that just happens to be. So I don't blame Elon for trying to be bought out at the start. He was probably going through what a lot of these startups go through, which is I don't see end in sight. I don't know where this is going to go until I think it's a few of those rejections that kind of put you on the right path to execute.
Yeah. Well stated there. And a user by the name of Baby Daddy 2013. I just reported this channel with some emojis, my friend, that will result in a instant permaban from the channel. To the mods, my mods, anytime anyone threatens to report this channel or said they did report that channel, I need you to immediately ban those people from the channel just for future posterity's sake. And talk about cringe. I mean, your username is Baby Daddy 2013. Like, I don't know why you even thought this would be a good home for you, dude. I just don't even understand how you could even look at the vibe of this channel and the topic matter and think that your tiny low IQ pea brain would be a good place for you to hang out at. I just don't understand how that occurred. And so I don't even understand how you even ended up here. I just don't understand. But you won't be here again, so it doesn't matter. Jason Huffman, $10 super chat. Thank you for that, Jason. Here's another $10 that may or may not get to you from YouTube. No, thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate that. And it will get to me. It will get to me. It's just that it's just on a super, super duper delay. So, yeah. I don't know if I have that much more tonight. If you guys have any questions for myself or Sadaf, just make sure the questions are tasteful, guys. If they're for Sadaf, feel free to fire them out, and we'll just kind of hang out here for a few more minutes and play it by ear to see if you guys have any questions for either of us. But we've got a lot to look forward to. I do think that we are in the beginning stages of another bull run. All I can say is all the indicators are showing, are lining up for this to be the case. I mean, you never know with markets, but the overwhelming amount of signals that I'm seeing are certainly indicating a bull, that we are probably in the beginning of a sizable bull run. What do you say, Sadaf?
Yeah, the next leg up is around the corner, I think.
Yeah. I think we're very, very, very close. Gangsta players, what is the thoughts on Dogecoin? What are my thoughts on Dogecoin? Pretty ambiguous question, but this is a very Doge-centric community and channel and content that I make here. I'm obviously very bullish on Dogecoin. I think Dogecoin's future is very solid, very strong for long-term investments. In fact, tomorrow morning, or actually technically the time here is later this morning, Dogecoin developers and Ethereum developers are going to be on a conference call meeting discussing the details of the bridging between Ethereum and Dogecoin. To me, this is going to be an absolute a powerhouse of a combination, and now that we know more details what the pairing involves, it's going to be equally beneficial for both Ethereum and Dogecoin going forward, where they're borrowing from each other's strengths in order to make something that's just going to be incredibly effective, I think, going forward in the future. Crypto Tank Girl says, okay, I'm creeped out, leaving now. What's going on in the chat, you guys? What's going on with my mods? Are you guys taken care of?
What happened?
Yeah, what's going on? I gotta... it's hard for me to conduct a show and to see what's going on in the chat. So, to my mods, if people are being creepy, like just give them the boot, guys. Just we want our core members here, particularly our women. We need to have them feel comfortable here. Okay. I don't like the feedback I'm getting. It's a lot of stress. Oh yeah, don't worry. So that user that you're speaking about, Crypto Tanker, I've never seen him before since he came in here, and he's been banned from the channel. So don't worry about him. We just got a couple strange strays in here tonight, and that will happen inevitably from time to time. Hasn't happened in quite some time, but no, yeah, don't worry. He's been banned. He's been banned.
If it's not, if I feel like if it's not a rug pull that I'm on here for, it's for a creeper.
Yeah, I just want to be clear about something. The average cryptocentric show has a female engagement between 5 to 7%. The female engagement and audience on my channel is upwards of 20%. Okay, so it's very important to me that the women here feel very comfortable and they feel respected and they feel then they feel heard. Not to like. I'm not trying to like white knight this whole situation, but it is important to me. And what is one of my goals of this show is for it not to be such a sausage fest all the time. Okay. Because me and my personal life, I am used to being around awesome, dynamic, brilliant, attractive women my whole life. And so I'm just bringing in my personal vibe that includes those kinds of women. And that's why I like to have co-hosts like Sadaf on here. Okay. And that's why I like to have many women included in the community here. It for me, it personally, honestly, it just makes me more comfortable as well, having that involvement as well. So it's just important to me, guys, that the women feel that this is a very, very comfortable place to be. That being said, let's see. Josh Randell disavows bringing out the Troll Destroyer. So guys, I was getting the question a lot today, is now a good time to buy into Ethereum, right? When people saw my headline, Ethereum Gone Wild, which is a bit of a parody on Girls Gone Wild, I suppose. But it's, it's one of these things where I think that Ethereum, and I was talking about this with Sadaf briefly before we went on the air tonight, that was this. I think it's, personally, this is just my personal opinion, not financial advice, but I do think Ethereum is likely to reach upwards of $20,000 per coin within the next 24 months from now, okay? So that being said, I wouldn't lose, personally, this is just me, I wouldn't be losing too much sleep. I'd win a good point to buy in on Ethereum right now. Right now Ethereum's sitting just a little bit over 2,500, right? And obviously there was a very much more advantageous window to buy Ethereum just a short time ago at 1,700, which would have been great if you had the capital to spend. But let's say you're just getting wise to Ethereum as being a great long-term investment. You guys, even at $2,500, when you're talking about a coin that's, in my opinion, likely going to be $20,000 within a 24, 26 month period of now, these are still bargain level prices, in my opinion. And I feel the same way when someone asks me about Doge. Doge right now is sitting at about 20 cents. Could you get it at a better price? You quite likely could. I think where things are at now, I don't think it'd be a much better price. I think a better price than where it's at now would be somewhere between 16.5 and 18 cents. With that being said, I do think Doge is destined for $1 and beyond. And I think it's destined for about $2 within the next 3 years. That being said, how much sleep are you really going to lose over your Doge bag purchasing between, let's say, 17 cents and 20 cents when you're sitting at $1.50 or even $1? Not too much. On the other hand, if you wait too long, sometimes you can overanalyze things to the degree that you end up cheating yourself out of opportunity, and you wake up and Dogecoin's at 40 cents and it's not going to get below 36 cents ever again. So there's that as well. You definitely, it's a balance between not overthinking things And it also depends how long you're in for. Or do you have the patience to be a long-term holder? If so, it's my opinion that you probably shouldn't be, losing too much sleep and time over a few percentage points of optimal buy-in times. Your thoughts, Sadaf?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I just think that if you got in at the top, just reading a few things about how to DCA on your investments would really save you the headache and stop you from comparing yourself with other people who got in really early, because you can bring that average down by a great deal.
Yeah. And Jake, I think you're newer to the channel. You came in the chat just saying, BitBoy, is that you? I'm just really not in the mood for bullshit tonight, so I'm just going to ban you from the channel. You can go fuck yourself, bro. I've had it. I've seen a couple people in the chat tonight that are newer here, and you think you're just going to come in the community. And one thing I cannot stand, Sadaf, are passive-aggressive men. Say what you mean, and say what you mean to say, but don't hang out in my chat and throw passive-aggressive jabs at me. Just see what you mean. If you don't like me, say you don't like me. I respect that a lot more than just trying to troll around and be passive-aggressive towards me. I think that's weak. So
I think passive aggressiveness from anybody, not just men.
Yeah.
Come on, Steven.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just sometimes I just get into a bit of a zero tolerance mode. I just get pushed a bit,
Look, I think when it comes to predictions, people take that stuff way too seriously. You don't need to agree with someone else's opinion, and if you don't agree with it, it doesn't mean that you're now, enemies. People just need to calm down. Everyone's doing their best. Everyone is trying to give each other some sort of what we call a guesstimate based on, their due diligence. I think we just need to appreciate it as part of the community. And I think we just need to work together and watch the market do its thing. I don't think you need to attack people who don't get. And I've mentioned this so many times in the past. It's chaos on Twitter sometimes. It's the competition there to be right and consistently be right. The reality is nobody's ever 100%. And I think it's. I saw a stat the other day that was. People are right 60% of the time. That's the average. People need to just calm down.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a saying that goes. There's a saying that goes. The people that contribute the least complain the most. And I've seen that really be true in crypto scenes as well. The people that complain the most are literally doing the least. And it's kind of I'm on here night after night, almost 7 days a week for the past 4 months, working for not a lot, guys, to bring in what I feel to be top guests, top content, hours of research, things like this. So once in a while, it's I just reach a breaking point when someone tries to just throw shit at me on top of all that. I'm just nah, I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
Yeah, you're doing an incredible job, and you're contributing so much to the community, crypto in general. So, I always tell you, these things are so momentary. And the few, the bad apples, good riddance.
I wish there was a rule, especially among men, that if you have very stern words to say to another man, there should be a way where you have to say it in person to that person. I think that kind of trolling would go down 99%. Thank you, Karen Smith. Thank you, Sanchez Gaming, for the kind words. Appreciate you guys. It's just I'm usually not this way, but I do get this way from time to time where I just. I'll go off on someone now and again. I will. So yeah, that's that. No, but I do appreciate all the support, guys, and I know we've got a great community here for sure. It's just one of those weird nights of the chat. It's I honestly haven't seen a night like this in the chat in I think only 2 other times since they've even started this channel. But yeah, no worries. That being said, here's the deal, guys. So the bottom line is this. It is my belief that Ethereum, Dogecoin, and Bitcoin are all fantastic, sound, long-term investments. The sort of investments you shouldn't think about doing anything with for a long time. Your future self, in my opinion, is going to absolutely thank yourself in the long term. I mean, just imagine, Sadaf, you're an Ethereum. You're a pretty prominent Ethereum holder, yeah?
Yeah, someone actually did ask the question when I got into crypto, and it was the 2017 before the bull run. Yeah, I did. It was Ethereum and XRP that I got into.
Yeah, now just imagine, let's say in 2017, if you pulled out both your XRP and Ethereum a year later in 2018. And think how silly you
dumbest decision.
Yeah, exactly. So crypto is a relatively new thing across the board, so most people have gotten into it much later than 2017. That being said, since you have the benefit of being a holder on both XRP and Ethereum since 2017, you understand the importance of having that kind of long-term resolve and the rewards that come with that. So when people I see out here that have been holding Doge for maybe 6 months tops are kind of losing their minds at not being satisfied with the gains that they've reaped so far. Now, keep in mind, if you are a Dogecoin holder for the last 6 months, you've reaped some serious gains. We've gone from about an average of 6 cents to an average of about 20 cents in a half year, right? So it's all about perspective, guys. It's all about perspective. Now, what depresses people like that is that they saw one night Dogecoin reach a bit over 70 cents, right? Before everything came crashing down significantly. Well, that's the type of thing that's happened to Bitcoin over and over again. That's the type of thing that's happened to Ethereum over and over again. The main thing you want to keep in mind is, when in doubt, zoom out. And you want to look at what the overall trajectory has been doing over the course of the year, over the course of 3-month blocks, over the course of 6-month blocks. If you're living day to day, and betting it all on how your favorite coins are doing on a daily basis, it's really not the way to look at this stuff. And chances are, if you get caught up in that mentality of investing, particularly in top coins like Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, and so forth, and Dogecoin, you are going to end up selling yourself. Chances are you're going to end up selling yourself exponentially short due to your own anxieties. What do you say, Sadaf?
Yeah, I agree. You're going to be torturing yourself. You really need to have that long-term vision with this, but also find some comfort in the fact that we haven't really had our blow-off parabolic top yet. And if you did want to, you want to see an astronomical rise in the short term, it's still on the cards, right? Mm-hmm. I was just with my Doge investment, I got in about, I think it was 4 cents US, which was about 6 cents Australian. Mm-hmm. And I sold the bulk of it at about 85 cents Australian, which was just before the SNL show. And I do remember a lot of Twitter spaces at the time going on, and everyone was in there talking about how it's about to reach $1 after the show. And it just, like, for me, it was sell the news, right? Mm-hmm. So I kept a very small bag because I got in very early, but I did sell the bulk of it. So if people are new here, I can see people are saying they've held it for 4 months or for 6 months. It's so early. And they have the benefit here now of sitting on that investment for a 2 to 3 year span, or even a 12 to 18 month, and still making significant money. So not financial advice, but it's like the writing's on the wall. Just patience.
Yeah, totally. And there's very few people that understand that level of patience in relation to cryptocurrency than my other co-host here, Nick Balls, who put in $10,000 investment in Dogecoin way back in 2014, and just kind of purposely forgot about it and purposely didn't pay any attention to it for years and years until, this for Nick was an 8-year process. But guys, think about this. Consider this. What's 8 years in a lifetime if your rewards are absolutely life-changing levels of wealth? You know what I mean? Let me say that again. What is 8 years of time if the consequence is a life-changing level of wealth? Okay? There's not many things in this world that can reap you those kind of results in a 7, 8, or 8 year period. So, again, as Warren Buffett has often said about the stock market anyway, that it is the process of trading money from the hands of the impatient to the patient. And
that's exactly what it is.
Right? And I think that absolutely is 100% applicable to cryptocurrency as well. And, you've been a holder here, Sadaf, since 2017. The only thing I've owned that long is a bit of Bitcoin. I remember even when I bought my first bit of Bitcoin in 2017, I thought I was already in on it too late. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm already late to this party. I don't expect my little bit of Bitcoin to do anything, right? So again, it's just interesting and to see where my head was at in 2017 as far as my perspective on Bitcoin was then. I already thought it was too late then, and how wrong was I, right? How wrong was I? And how wrong... and that's a good lesson for the future. So let's see, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's 4 years. Now imagine where our Ethereum and Dogecoin and Bitcoin investments will be 4 years from now. Well, quite likely significantly higher than where they are at this day.
You just need to do a bit of reading on the Bitcoin halving to realize how exceptionally early we really are, and what happens after these bull runs, and how the prices drop astronomically, up to an 80 to 90% correction. So even if you've missed out on some of these well-performing assets, you just need to calm down. We've got such a long way to go, and that's why part of the work that I do, which is all about just the awareness, I'm constantly encouraging people to do anything that they feel inspired by in the crypto space, because you're that early. It's like any other, look at it like a social media platform, or look at it like, any other emerging technology. You're so early, and anything that you can do in this space right now can blow up eventually. You just need to recognize that we are early, and there is ample opportunity.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And when well stated, Sadaf. Brutus DM coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Brutus. Appreciate that. And welcome to the channel. Can Elon Musk make Dogecoin into the future cryptocurrency of the world? Will it be unique? I absolutely think he can, for a couple obvious reasons to me anyway, and that is Dogecoin is actually, its transaction speeds are much quicker than both Ethereum and Bitcoin's, and its gas fees are much lower than both of those currencies as well. So even though Dogecoin started as a parody of these cryptocurrencies, it was designed and coded by my friend Billy Marcus. So what he did is, while he was creating this this somewhat of a parody cryptocurrency at the time, it was also coded with really good application and utility. So here we have this curious blend of humor and something that is a joke that also carries some very brilliant utility. It has Dogecoin was templated off of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and something called Lucky Coin. All three of those with some different unique tweaks. One of them being its annual soft cap, it's this combination of unique dynamics that make Dogecoin what it is, and where it's almost accidentally has found itself to fulfill a very pivotal role in the future of digital cryptocurrency. Because as much as I love Bitcoin, we do have enough proof of concept to show that not many people actually spend Bitcoin, and not many people going forward are going to spend Bitcoin in a retail space. That's a big problem. We need a digital currency that people are going to feel comfortable spending in the retail space on a daily basis. And I think that Elon Musk really understands that Dogecoin is best positioned to be that everyday person's cryptocurrency to be used for retail purchasing, both large and small. So can Elon Musk make Dogecoin into the future currency of the world? Well, future digital currency of the world, yes. So my persuade, I don't think that cryptocurrency is ever going to completely overtake levels of respective fiats from country to country. I think they'll just work in tandem with those things, much like credit cards work in tandem with paper money does now. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I do agree, and I do agree that it could definitely become something. I mean, just look at the number of people in it at the moment, and the way it's spreading like wildfire, right? So I think it's like the people coin, and yeah, I do think it's going to do some great things.
Yeah, right on. And Ange says he's off the bed. Ange, thanks for finding the channel, and thanks for joining us. A couple people in the chat are saying hold for life. Well, folks, don't hold for life unless you have some children or some family that you plan on passing off your cryptocurrency to, or else it doesn't make sense. So one of two things. Either sell in time for you to enjoy your earnings while you're alive, or pass off. It wouldn't be a bad idea to pass off a good chunk of generational wealth, right, to your children or other family members. But yeah. I wouldn't hold other than that. That'd be the only reason for me that would logically make sense to me to hold for life. If there are,
yeah, you also want to get someone else across all your logins and your seed codes just in case.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, you can imagine. You can imagine. You can already foresee the amount interesting legal cases that are going to be had coming up with people's wills and things of that nature, and who you're gonna just what family member or next of kin that you're going to entrust with your seed phrase and things like this. It's gonna get pretty interesting, and I think there's going to be a big need for people in these respective industries to be savvy in these affairs in the near future, and the ones that fail to evolve in that regard, I think, are going to pay dearly in business. And I think our politicians too. There's only a handful of elected leaders that even have any semblance of what the heck they're talking about when it comes to cryptocurrency. Folks, that's got to change. I mean, I don't feel comfortable letting people legislate and crack down on cryptocurrency when they don't even understand the basic mechanics of it. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, I think going forward, I think more and more people are going to start expecting, and rightfully so, that their political candidates should at least have a grasp on this stuff, at least have a general grasp on it.
We're going to see a lot of that governance and regulation come in the not too it's going to be soon. So now's the time to get in.
Bud Dickman says, the upshot dislikes just came in for the night. I see. Yeah, I suspect they're from a few people that I had banned from the channel tonight, and goes with the territory. Doge Leprechaun, I love hearing from you, Doge Leprechaun. Keep up the good work, brother. Hang in there, my friend. You hang in there as well, and appreciate the kind words. Appreciate the kind words. RW says the infrastructure tax plan with the crypto is actually a good thing, shows the government isn't banning or restricting crypto, rather than embracing it and allowing transactions equals money for them. Yeah, I have said this from the start. I've never been worried about an all-out crypto ban or super severe access restrictions to cryptocurrency in the United States for one simple reason. They want to tax us. They want that tax money. They see all the money that's being made, and the government wants a part of it. Now, where things could get contentious and unfortunate is, what are those taxes? What are the tax codes going to look like? How much are we going to get taxed on this stuff? That is where we start. We're going to need to start demanding clarity from our different elected leaders and political parties. Find out exactly where they stand on the taxation of crypto. Because I'm telling you what, I could become a single issue voter pretty quickly. What do you say, Sadaf?
Yeah, we definitely need clarity. And someone just said, educate the SEC. Couldn't agree more. We definitely need that.
Yeah, totally.
But I think we were discussing the tax stuff the other day. Like, it's crazy. Over here, 50% of your profits are taxable. So, and I know that, you can hold it for an additional 12 months and have another discount applied to it. But for people that are, I guess, not long-term traders, in the 12 months that you're meant to hold it, that might go down again. So, but then you're still liable to pay for the first set of profits that you had. So it's honestly very confusing. Yeah. People saying we love Steele, we love Sadaf even more. I know, guys. I'm not nearly as pretty as Sadaf, but I clean up decently. You're special, and I love you guys too.
Can we get a Senator Warren impersonation tonight? Sure. Let me bring out Sadaf. Do you know who Senator Elizabeth Warren is?
I don't.
That's totally understandable. She's a prominent political leader here in the United States, so this impersonation is going to mean zero to you. But here goes, guys. Here's I'll just give you one line as Senator Elizabeth Warren. And I said to him, Mr. Trump, tear down your wall. There you go, guys. She actually ran for president in the Democratic primaries here unsuccessfully, and I'd imagine that's something she would have said on a debate stage had she gotten the opportunity. But that's exactly how she talks, and for that reason, I don't think she would ever win a presidential election.
You guys have never had a female, right?
No, we haven't. We've had female VPs, but we've had female vice presidents, but not presidentes. It was believed to be a foregone conclusion in 2016, but then someone upset the apple cart.
Yeah. All right, Hillary. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and everyone just assumed that was a foregone conclusion, and I think almost everyone, even Mr. Trump himself, woke up surprised. I don't think very many people expected that at all, except for a few pretty keen political analysis who did call it, but they're in a minority. RW, that was pretty good. Don't worry, Sadaf, you're not missing anything. Yeah. Yeah, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I think a female president is inevitable at some point. Let's see here.
Let's not open that can of worms.
Yes, I know.
I just think whoever can do the job better should it deserves it. So
yeah,
if that happens to be men. It's men.
Right. I appreciate that your candor and your perspective on that. It's like you don't want to like overcorrect the past by just nominating people solely based on, or close to solely based on, their gender, right? It's not good either.
We obviously diversity and the whole gender diversity stuff here is so big. And I remember working at an organization, one of the biggest banks in Australia, where it really came under light, and we had to obviously even out the men and women in management roles, and it was a shitstorm. Like you literally had people just putting females into management roles, because obviously the female part of it was much lower, just to balance that scorecard that needed to be done by the end of that particular year. And you had, there are some business units where, they, didn't even have as many females in the team to be elected as a manager. But it was just, picking all these females up and just putting them in those roles just to balance out a scorecard. And it was probably one of the most unsuccessful years I'd ever been in that institution. It was literally just trying to reach a number to impress a whole lot of people that were obviously there to see that number go up. But in terms of productivity and performance, it was struggling on all fronts. And I'm not saying it was the females that contributed to that, but it was the fact that you've just gone out to do an exercise based on just achieving a target, and you've now just decided to put anyone who's capable or not capable in that target. And you could see the trickle down effect. It was bad.
Yeah, I think you raise a good point on your actual real life observations, not just what people's idealized hopes for the sort of implementation, what they hope it to be. And kind of dovetailing off what you say there, you can that kind of thinking can, and we've already seen it, can lead to disastrous results when you're talking in the fields of architecture, for example, right? So we had something happen here in the United States a couple of years ago, where in a major bridge that was recently built completely collapsed with a bunch of cars were going across it, led to an unfortunate amount of fatalities and injuries. And then it was shortly thereafter revealed that the architects of that bridge were essentially put in the positions that they were through the very same I'm trying to word this carefully, qualifications or quota-esque scenario that, based on what you just talked about from your experience, Sadaf?
The first thing that comes to mind when you say, architecture, I just think hire the right architects. Don't bring gender into this. Whoever is the right architect should be hired.
Yeah, regardless.
Could be female, male.
Yeah, exactly.
Could be anything. Yeah.
Could be anyone. Yeah. It could be anyone. It's just like if we start, if it's just one of the things. It's like if we start like playing identity politics with our quotas when it comes to fields of architecture, science, and medicine, we are screwed, man. We're screwed. Like, I mean, you got to draw the line. You got to draw the line. I mean, every. Oh man! So every
look, if you really open the can of worms with this stuff, like I've worked for probably about 10 males compared to 2 females in the past, and if you were to open the can of worms with female leaders and the treatment that female colleagues get from female leaders, it's shocking. So, they'll push for that, but then females don't want to be reporting to females because there's a lot of estrogen, like there's a lot of energy there, and it's normally a disaster. So it's just put the right people in the right roles. Stop trying to balance out scorecards that just tick boxes for people who are petitioning for things. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I often refer to it as a disease of overcorrection, right? I think every respective society has a very blemish history of things that are far less than ideal and people that were mistreated unfairly as a consequence of that, right? The problem is, when there is a long-term exertion through both cultural trends and legislation that leads to, like I say, an overcorrection wherein to make up for balancing out your history's transgressions against certain genders or segments of people, you end up discriminating against a different segment of people, and and I think we're seeing that all throughout the West right now, and it's just unfortunate because it also creates a lot more disunity and a lot more disgruntled people, and for a good reason, of course. So I think it's a disease of overcorrection. I think there's a really good example of this now. I don't know how it is in Australia, but in the United States here, we are seeing a crisis in not enough young male students in college. And so
everyone's probably trying to, do something online and make proper money rather than going to college.
Well, that too. I mean, yeah, that too. I mean, in a sense, unless it's like engineering or medicine or law, college has never been more questionably relevant. And when you look at the resources that we have today, so
that's just the thing, right? Even those things. I mean, if are people not aware of what IBM Watson are doing? They're like, all of these things are going to be AI driven in future, including in the medical field, legal field. And those AIs and the things that they're creating do have obviously a larger capability to download thousands and thousands of years worth of information and data to determine a medical issue or legal advice. And I think when I was in Silicon Valley, and a lot of these guys were investing in stocks in some of these upcoming companies, it was basically how they saw the future was you will have AI doctors and AI lawyers, but what you will have is it won't remove the people component, but the people will actually be there as almost like a concierge or just a QA just on top of what the AI is producing. So obviously the jobs will still be there, but it would be much, much lower than the number of jobs available now in those fields, because you'll only need, one QA or one real life doctor for every artificial, like it's crazy the direction that we're traveling. But I think that whole perception of, well, unless it's a doctor or any of those things, I think that's also probably unnecessary as well, because those things are going to change dramatically in the next 10 years or less, I think.
Yeah, I hope we're alive long enough to be able to see, like you often see portrayed, and I think accurately, in science fiction, film, and television, in futurist scenarios wherein people's go into a medical office and their bodies just go through like a diagnostic scan, and then they're immediately able to see everything that's wrong.
Well, we can't even be mad at that, right? Because the accuracy of that is probably so much higher than someone who's had, albeit like many years of experience in the field. But this other thing, this computer is detecting and spitting out information based on thousands and thousands of other scans, right? So if you were to compare the data, the AI is always going to win. So I don't think we need to see it as a negative thing, but almost as a tool that's going to help us.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree. That's what I'm saying. I hope we live long enough to see such tools. I mean, how much more effective and to me, I hope this is front and center of what they're working on, because to me this would be the most game-changing tool to mankind to be able. Now imagine how much more cost efficient it would be. Imagine how many people like me, for example, get stuck with particular illness scenarios. They go from one specialist to another. They're not sure what's wrong. You get passed around. Bills keep getting drummed up. The patient keeps going down different rabbit holes of medications and trial and error. Still not sure what's wrong. This happens constantly to just countless amounts of people. Now imagine if it almost operated like more of a diagnostic tool for an automobile. And I mean, I think this is a great thing, by the way, if we get to this point, and I think eventually we will. Imagine if you couldn't put your finger on what was going on, and you went in and you just had this full body scan, and all of a sudden it went beep, 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 and showed like the things you're deficient in, the disease that you have, where it is located. I mean, amazing, right? I mean,
yeah.
I would have to think this is going to be an inevitable invention, don't you?
100%. And I saw that firsthand with banking, right? So, banks, even here 5 years ago or 10 years ago, the social component was it was so big. You'd walk into a branch and you've got plenty of like concierge stuff floating around. You've got the tellers that are handling your money. Then you've got people in back office. But now when you go to a branch, and particularly in Singapore, and they adopted that pretty quickly, it's literally a hub with computer screens in rooms, like glass rooms, and one concierge walking around. So I would literally walk into one of those little rooms, fingerprint, put that in, it's identified me, and I'm talking to the computer about what I want to do. So whether I want to transfer money or make or start an application, the computer is doing it with me. And the only time that the people component comes in is when the concierge needs to come if there's a glitch or if there's some sort of technical issue that they're fixing with. They're not the ones helping us anymore. And it's crazy because that is where we're going. And that's why you see so many, branches closing down because everything is converting to this AI space. So it's crazy.
Yeah. I think that's where it's going, and I think that's very much a good thing. This kind of like dovetails on the conversation we started having anyway. One of the times you were on, Sadaf, that was with the CEO of Geometric Energies Corporation. We were kind of entertaining with him. Yeah, we were kind of entertaining with him different scenarios under which AI technology is going to evolve, and I was basically talking about what I believe to be an inevitable future, wherein I think one of the first things that will be invented in relation to super advanced AI technology are people having basically partners and assistants around their household environments, wherein there's almost a very human lifelike experience of being able to talk to an AI and for them to have very lifelike responses to that sort of conversation, in which case the inevitable will happen where people will inevitably become emotionally attached to their AIs, right? And what kind of problems, not only problems will this pose, but also I think it will come with a lot of multitude of therapeutic benefits for people as well.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and then obviously what's going to happen from there, probably even before then, is we're going to invent the most realistic AI, well, I don't know how else to put it, but sexual partners, because that's where this always leads. No matter what the technology, that's where this always leads. Didn't a
guy recently in Russia marry a doll?
I don't know, but AI. I don't know, but I'm sure he did. I don't doubt that for a moment. I know that
you should have seen their honeymoon pictures. Like, he's dressing her up, and
wow,
she's just playing. It's crazy. But just in terms of an AI buddy, like, let's just move away from the sexual, the underlying sexual, craze about it, but just there are people right now in lockdown that would probably need something like that because they're so lonely. Yes,
no. So I'm serious. Yeah, I agree.
It's very sad to see that we're turning away from real life because we're trying to fill this void for people.
Yeah. It's RW says the way things are going, future hospitals will be like the movie Idiocracy. Yeah, the hospital scene in that movie is extra funny. I try to see a silver lining benefit of that stuff as well. I don't necessarily think that sort of technology in terms of to be wielded in matters of intimacy is necessarily all bad either, because for every person it will probably stagnate their progress in terms of interpersonal relationships with actual human beings. There are people that I think will be helped by it in terms of widows or elderly or disabled folks, you know what I mean? So or people that even have a lot of have a lot of social anxieties about meeting people. Well, maybe it wouldn't be best for them because now you're giving them an out, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't be best for maybe it wouldn't be best for them. But I think the other examples it would be likely beneficial for. Welcome back, Celeste. Let's see. Everything is crazy. Okay, yeah, I mean, yes. Someone's asking if you like to dance, Sadaf.
I saw that. I responded to that.
Okay. I like to dance. I dance a bit of ballroom. I dance salsa okay. I can dance salsa, like, I know the basics. And then I just do my own, like, weird dances.
Who is Mosh Scandal anyway, Josh?
Yeah, I don't know who Mosh Scandal is. I don't know who Mosh Scandal is. Guys, you've been listening to Steven Steele live. This is Steven Steele. My co-hostess with the mostest has been Sadaf Jadran. We're just kind of freestyling here. It's going into more of the twilight end of the hours here in the United States. If you're like me on Central Standard Time, it's 1:15 a.m. in the morning. If you are on the West Coast, you are coming in earlier at 11:15, and if you're on the East Coast and or Florida, you are a true Doge after darker. You are coming in at quarter after 2 a.m. And if you are new here, I'd like to invite you to subscribe, hit that notification bell. And guys, I think most of you already have subscribed here. If you haven't, hit all on that notification bell. Take a split second to do that. Then you never have to worry about like what happened tonight, when we had some malfunction, when I was going to come back, when I was going to go live. That way it takes all the guesswork out. Steven Steele Mosh Scandal is a rhyme of okay. Okay. Guys, pretty animated chat tonight. Well, let's see. I like what Sadaf said.
Oh, that's a nice question. That's a nice question about looking for new ways to start crypto-related ventures. Yeah. So I think first what you need to do is just look at the vertical that you want to kind of attack. So whether that's like an education piece, or whether that's bringing awareness, whether that's looking at other things that would be, needed as a result of crypto adoption. Then you look at like specialty kind of verticals, like people that are just, hype fans that want, I don't know, things like clothing, or any of those little bits and bobs. Look at where you think there'd be a big, like, I know the Doge community, they love like Doge merch. Just look at what I guess you would enjoy doing. Basically, my point was you could do anything in this space right now because it's so new. So look at what you want to do and then kind of just take that road.
Yeah, I think that's really, really well stated there. I've been talking with a couple of developers briefly. I'm just trying to get a gauge on it because I don't want to reveal the name of this particular crypto until I completely vet it. But the idea is they are developing, they claim to be developing a technology wherein people will be able to have an action of recourse on any crypto that they send. So, for example, if you send out some Dogecoin or some Ethereum or VeChain or whatever to a certain address, and it doesn't arrive at that address, the transaction for whatever doesn't complete, and or you accidentally sent it to the wrong address, one number was off, you will have a course of action to have it come back to you and cancel that transaction and reverse it. I think that could be.
That's a big gap. That's an awesome gap to fill.
Yeah. So I don't want to talk about it yet until I vet it thoroughly and make sure the technology is where they're claiming it is. But if it is where they're claiming it is, and and the vetting does check out, I will sink some money into it and promote it, because I think it's a tremendous. I think that will be a tremendous opportunity and problem solver.
Yeah, I see a lot of new projects coming up just around security, and I think that's epic, because a lot of people do get into this and don't have a lot of education around just how to be aware, that security awareness. So yeah, things like that.
Yeah, and I think there's also a lot of anxiety about people making transfers or sending things out wherein they don't know what's going to happen. I've actually had that happen where I sent some chain link from my Trust wallet to my Voyager wallet account for chain link. It just never came through, and I didn't have any course of action to follow through from there, and it's just money I lost, And that happens every day to folks. It's definitely a problem. Definitely a problem. Guys,
Yeah.
go ahead. Weird, your voice did this robot echo. Can you hear me, Sadaf? Yeah, we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you right now for whatever reason.
Oh no, I just agreed.
And now
Hello?
now you're coming through.
I can say AI. I think it's just the batteries on all my technology being drained.
Okay. Yeah, all of a sudden I heard this. That's what it sounded like. It was wild. I was like, wow. Wow. So somebody's just shot me DM me a screenshot of myself on the top Doge influencers for the week on what? It has to be Lunar Crush.
Is it Lunar Crush?
Yeah, Lunar Crush is the only thing that keeps track of this stuff. Yeah, so someone just sent me a screenshot of it, and I'm coming in at number 4. I'm the 14th most 14 on the influencer list for Dogecoin. So I never even paid attention to it until this screenshot, but I guess that's good. I think that's good. So we'll see. Let's see what's going on. VGX is my worst. Swapping promise mid-August. Ain't gonna help though. Yeah, I've used to be very bullish on VGX, and I've kind of cooled on it. On paper, everything looked like it was there, but I think that Voyager as a company has been underperforming over the last few months, and I don't see that being remedied anytime soon. They told us that they were going to expand into both Europe and Canada within 2021. We haven't even gotten any communication, let alone a timeline, if that's going to happen. Then they said that they are going to expand through most of Asia by the beginning of 2022. Zero talk of that. So I just my faith in the leadership of Voyager has been sinking, frankly, and I think that's carrying on into how seriously they're taking their own coin, VGX. I just haven't seen any bold, serious moves on advancing VGX like I assumed I was going to see. Leadership over at Voyager started so strong, so promising, and they may, don't be wrong, they still could turn it around, but they've been performing. Their performance has been very underwhelming. I'll put it that way. Recently, for sure. Guys, I think I'm gonna put a cap in this one. But I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out. I hope you got something out of it. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. Thanks for following us, Sadaf and I. There were different twists and turns throughout the night. And but we will be back. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to take the night off tomorrow yet or not. I'll keep you posted. For those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Mr. Steven Steele. Mr. Steven Steele. I'll pop up right away if you want. I'm very active there, and you can keep abreast to my streams and appearances and plans there and stuff. And you can also obviously find Sadaf Jadran under the same name on Twitter, right? Yep. So
one me.
Yep. So it's as simple as that. You can find Sadaf under her name there, and so feel free to give her a follow as well. Thanks again, you guys. Appreciate it. Until next time, this is. Yes. It was lovely having you again, and you'll be on again very soon, I'm sure. This is
always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, Sadaf. This is Steven Steele and Sadaf signing off.